We're gonna do a shakedown run through the Honda XR500. It's the first time I've had this bike out in the desert. I rebuilt the engine completely and did a few things to it. I'm just gonna do a first quick lap, make sure the thing is rideable, then I'll come back here and fuel up, give it a few priming kicks here. This is the hardest bike I've ever had to start. They're notorious for being difficult to start, so nothing that abnormal. Last time I rode it, I ran the carb dry, so probably needs to get some fuel through it. You really got to give it a good kick. Still working out the technique. It takes quite a few prime kicks, and then when you go to start it, you got to give it a really healthy kick. 3,903 miles. I put about 10 miles on it. Pretty low mileage for this year of machine. The engine's run for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Done quite a few heat cycles, maybe 5 rides around the neighborhood. I'm gonna take it pretty easy. Also, the other thing, the shifter was hitting the skid plate, so I had to bend it out just a bit. I don't know if the shift lever is bent at all. If it hits the skid plate, it must have been bent. I sincerely doubt that it's the skid plate's fault. See how she does. This is my first thumper. This thing's pretty fun. Sounds like the speedo cable's whistling here. Should probably take those off and oil them up. Look at the birds flying nowhere. It's that windy out here. Put some fuel in it and take it down some dirt roads. Just gonna take it easy. It's a big tank. It's gonna take 2.5 gallons. So there's the makeshift cotter pin. Got some fresh chain oil on there. None of the bolts seem loose. Everything seems like it's on there pretty good. Let's give it another bit of a run here. Starts up first kick when warm. Let's try some dirt roads, a little bit of the trail. Well, this big 23-inch wheel sure goes over everything very easy. Is that top end noisy? It sounds like it's ticking. Probably check the valves again. So this is the Gonzo pit right here. They get the trophy trucks out here pit stops for refueling tires. It's a little soft, but it's not bad. Sounds like the tire touched the front fender. Is the chain guard seems to like to jump on the wrong side of the chain. So this should be behind the chain, and now it's on the chain tensioner. I don't think there's really much I can do about that. I could try and cut it, but then when the wheel and the swing arm come up, the chain will come up and it'll still catch it. So I'd have to cut it up pretty high, probably just below the mounting bolt here. I might do that because I like having this top piece on there in case the chain does come off. Didn't mean to jump there. Kind of glad I did. That top end sounds super noisy to me. It's getting later in the day. I feel like I want to adjust the valves. I think the top end's gotten a little noisier since I've been out here. I'm a little worried that if I ride it, I'm gonna damage something. Other than this noise that I'm going to have to check into in the top end here, look into the valves, make sure the oil's pumping properly, make sure everything's working. But it's been a good ride. Everything else feels good on the bike. The carb feels good. Engine feels strong. Nothing's rattly, nothing's shaking loose. The saddle's super comfortable. Tires are holding up. The rear tire is really good. Really liking the rear tire on this thing. Get one last look. Man, that bike looks cool. Would be to check the plug and just see if we're running rich, running lean. The plug should tell us a lot about how things were going. It's always good to check, especially on like a first ride. Is that rich? It's pretty brown. I think this is water in the threads from when I just pulled the plug out. Wonderful. Getting a little bit of water down there. So we'll leave it out. I don't think it was gas at all. I think this is all just a little bit of water from the threads from washing it and then pulling the plug straight away. But that's pretty brown. That's a pretty brown color there. So we'll call that good for now. We'll leave the plug out to make sure if anything got in there, dries out. I burned out the headlight. And when I got the bike, it had a couple of spare bulbs in the tool bag on the back. So got the bolts out here and let's see how this works. Press and turn. Alright, there's the bulb. Actually burnt. Oh yeah. That is one burnt out bulb. These old 6-volt bikes, they use the headlight as the voltage regulator. So my guess is it didn't like the tail light. I don't know how good this bulb is. It's been sitting on the back of the motorcycle for who knows how long. Definitely the headlight though, you see high beam, low beam. The bulb fits right there. That's my guess. Not that way. Not that way. It's kind of idiot proof. There's 3 tabs on the electrical connector, 3 tabs on the housing, and only one way that you could line it up. They have the tabs offset. And press down and turn. Alright, we got all of them on there. Just push the boot down. So hopefully that fresh bulb works. And it fits back on like this. The other things I did today, I switched this lever. The other one was bent. It wasn't totally broke, but this one's much nicer. And one thing that I really like doing is matching the hardware here. So I've got this bolt which takes a 12, matching this side which takes a 12. Before there was a 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter, and trying to take off the seat and having to change sockets is so annoying. So the nut fell off the front axle, so I used a hose clamp more as a visual, because I could see this when I was riding. I can make sure that the hose clamp was still on there in the same spot that I put it on, to make sure that the axle wasn't coming out at all. It didn't loosen up at all. I don't remember ever taking this off. I'm gonna go back and double check the footage and see if that was on there the whole time. Maybe that was missing the whole time. I did notice the cotter pin was gone, so I put a piece of wire in there. Not as easy to change as a cotter pin, but it will hold in a pinch. And the chain guard, just gonna trim right along the swing arm there to make sure that the chain has plenty of space so this stops happening. I definitely want to keep this part on here though, on the top. Chain guard and front axle nut. This side everything looks good. I'll be making something to go there in place of the missing plastic. at top dead center. So you can't. All right. Still is a pain in the ass, huh? These are all super tight. Let's rotate it over. All right. The intake. Yeah, that is... All right, these things loosened up a lot. So that would definitely be the reason for the noisy top end. Look at this one, still fits. We're at 1.178. Holy cow. I know for sure we're way too big. So the inlet on this one is supposed to be 0.5 millimeters. Yeah, this one's so thin it's hard to try to push back in the gap. I think I gotta take it off of this thing. Make sure to put this back on because you'll be playing 52 card pickup if you don't. There's definitely oil in the top end, which is what I was worried about. No oil up here, but there's definitely oil. All right, first one done. It catches, I mean, it's rubbing on both sides, but it's still moving back and forth. We're good. Let's move to exhaust. Hopefully the exhaust side is easier. It is 0.1 mil. That gap feels quite a bit too big. All right, we gotta tighten up this side too. So the exhaust valve was pretty loose. Like, I don't mean the gap. When I went to loosen it with this red thing, it just loosened right up. You gotta be careful not to push down. It'll be very light here. If you push, then you get a false valve reading. Perfect. Yeah, that was too easy. Just open right up. Oh, that one was way too loose. No wonder this thing was so noisy. No wonder. Alright, now I'm going to turn the engine over a couple times. I'm going to check. Top dead center. Let's see what we got here. Nice. It's dragging. Let's try this side. Yep, this side feels good too. Alright, let's see about this one. Okay. Let's put this thing back together and see what it sounds like. quick. Perfect. I don't hear any more ticking. Still isn't the quietest engine. The valve sound is gone though. All right. I think this thing's ready to rip. So shakedown worked out. We had a noisy top end. Solved that, at least relatively. I got the fake cotter pin in here. Engine's definitely quieted down a lot. Let's see if the headlight works. All right, headlight works. Cool. Bright, low beam. Nice. Headlight was a fix. Engine's quieter. It's looking good. Sounding good. Find a nut for the axle here. Everything else is good to go. Can't wait to get it out again. We'll see how fast it'll go now. Feel confident, more confident in the engine. But I'll keep an ear out for that top end sound in case it comes back. But it's sounding pretty good right now. I'm gonna go rip it around the neighborhood just a bit. I got so excited. I didn't put the wrench away. I dropped it right in the middle of the street. Can you believe that? I found it though. Little sneak preview of what's coming up next. Not gonna give a lot of hints, but maybe you could tell just from that. It's just about ready, so stay tuned for this one.